Hello and what is up, everybody? Welcome back to game 2 between Team Liquid and Newbee in the Kiev major main event. This is another live cast, of course. Liquid just lost game 1 to Newbee. It was a pretty rough game for them. They went for, I would say, like some type of global strat with the Spectre as well as Tinker, and it just didn't work out. Newbee never really split up to the point where they can get a pick off using either the Treant or a Lion. And so Treant definitely slowed down Newbee's push, healing the towers, but then he kind of felt a bit underwhelming. And I feel like that's how the hero is working most of the time. I watched this series between IG and Mouse, and I mean, the hero does pretty well in the early games, very annoying, can harass offlaners, can gank pretty well. But then, if your team doesn't really get an advantage,
10 seconds to go.
sure, he can keep your towers alive, make it a lot harder for your enemy to push into you, but other than that, his impact starts to feel lacking. Maybe for that reason, we don't see either team pick him up here in the first phase, and he's not banned either. Instead, Liquid actually banning out Vengeful Spirit as well as Nyx Assassin. So,
10 seconds to
Nyx
go.
Assassin being really kind of the bane of their existence in the last game.
5 seconds.
He was good against the Tinker that they were more or less forced into last picking, because I felt like they already had that idea in their mind and they couldn't find a better hero. They definitely, I don't think they saw that Nyx and just forgot that Nyx can just do very well against Tinker. They probably realized, okay, they have a Nyx,
10
but
seconds to go.
we're gonna have to pick Tinker anyway. I think we can play him here even against more or less a counter. But here, Newbee, with the same exact bans from the last game, banning out split pushing heroes because they know that that is what Liquid is good at. And pretty much all four of these heroes are more or less split pushing heroes, heroes that just create a lot of chaos around the map, whether it's just pushing creep waves like Naga Siren, like and then Io with the relocate, the global ability. You can just stay with the carry at any point. The carry can come into a fight to join a gank, anything like that.
10 seconds to go.
And so this time around, actually, Liquid going back to the Spectre, and I did comment on Matama Man's performance on the Spectre, and it wasn't that great. And it wasn't all his fault, really. It was just more or less the team wasn't able to play around the hero, and I was just watching the panel where Aoi actually commented on Matama Man. He's a bit quiet when he plays these games. In general, I've noticed that in pubs, as I played a couple of times with a Smurf, and compare him to a player like Eternal Envy, and he's not saying much, kind of relying on his own individual skill. But a hero like Spectre, I think a lot of her skill set is dependent on playing around a team, and we didn't really see that in the last game. And they did take the team fights pretty well, but they didn't manage to win them, and that mattered at the end of the day, as they needed that extra edge entering that mid game. So just trading team fights back and forth with Newbee and just going even eventually led to Newbee getting Roshan. After a couple of engagements where Team Liquid weren't ready to contest those, and farmed SF just sieging racks, and there was nothing they could do about it at that point.
Radiant's ban.
And so this time around, Newbee gonna go for Jug again. They're gonna get a Legion Commander this time as well. And I think they're setting up for more or less a similar strategy here. Like 1 of 5 man, they take these team fights and win the game off of that, while Liquid definitely looking to scale a bit later into the game, of course, as shown by the Spectre pick. And once again, they're going to save Miracle's pick for last, and they do have the overall last pick. This time around, Newbee doesn't want to play against a Tinker, even though Miracle did have a relatively hard lineup to play against in the last game. He did very well, and he was the one reason that they were staying in the game. And
10 seconds to go.
I'm still thinking about Miracle's Invoker here. Does it
5 seconds.
fit with the Spectre? It's a bit greedy, but I think, I mean, against the Ember, of course, the
Reserve
Tornado is going to
time.
remove the Flame Guard if he goes for Quaz Wex. Newbie going to pick up a last pick Sand King, and is it going to be. Alright, it's going to be Templar Assassin for Team Liquid. That Once again, that's strange. It's going to be a Kaka Sand King. KPI does play the hero quite a bit, but I think putting Sand King on a 4 roll is definitely better this game. You don't want Legion to like jungle or something like that. You definitely can't play 4 at all. So that makes sense there. We're going to see GH on Tusk. I didn't comment on that. Hero that we don't see too often. At one point, Tusk was like the go-to pick, one of those top 4 position heroes, but after a couple of nerfs, he fell out of the meta. Other heroes eclipsed him. I mean, I don't think he's that bad of a hero. The thing he does provide is his snowball,
10
which is a
seconds
very
to
big
go.
deal. Being able to save teammates from, let's say, Omni
5
Slash,
seconds.
Warlock Golem, even look at something like a dual Epicenter as well. Hero works well here. The slow from the sigil is kind of significant as well in these heroes that want to just right click, like Jug and Legion. But TA last pick onto Miracle confuses me once again. I guess they feel confident in TA versus Ember. It fits with their minus armor. They can get Roshan pretty easily. Give those Aegises to Matamba Man. The hero scales pretty well into the late game with the Spectre. But I don't know. Ember, I feel, has a pretty decent matchup against TA. It used to be more TA favored, but after some changes on Ember, he definitely can just take over the lane, especially with some nice rotations
Better
coming in
get
from
ready.
Kaka. It's kind of a volatile head-to-head matchup. It can really go either way, and whoever starts winning the lane will really start dominating it for the most part. But I think overall, Ember has the more comeback potential. Even if the lane doesn't start out in his favor, he can come back and get
Someone's
the kill
dropped
onto the
out like a
TA.
kid in school.
Meanwhile, if TA falls behind, she can only hope to just farm it out, and it's more so reliant on the support rotations. So I'm gonna have to keep eye on GH as well as Kaka and see what they can do in terms of rotations into the mid lane and helping out Miracle or SCCC. We're gonna see a bit of a pause here. No reason provided, but I mean this is pretty standard at this point. On the side of Newbie, they will get a alright. There's a reason from KPI. They will get a ward on the high ground for SCCC. Doesn't really help that much for a melee hero, but will help him see rotations coming in and such. Second ward will be placed out here, giving any idea of a rotation if Tusk is coming from this angle. Other than that, I mean, I don't think this is the best ward. Can see like where the dazzle is, which can be important. But yeah, normally you want a ward somewhere over here, which is a lot more defensive in terms of having what everyone disconnected. What in the world? Um, Being able to scout out a rotation, going aggressively onto an offlaner. But I mean, this ward is fast to get out as you TP the shrine and you place it immediately, and it's unlikely to be dewarded. Um, yeah, so that's probably the reason behind that. Surprised they didn't go for a block though. If he was gonna go in here for a ward, I guess he really just wants the ward to be out. I mean, there's not much else to say. The game is possum. Just the nuances of a simple ward that is a monkey. Right, players looking to start to reconnect into the game, so we should see them all come back soon, and the game should get underway. The side of Liquid here, they also didn't go for a more standard ward blocking camp or anything like that. They have decided to put a ward here on the high ground. This is going to give vision of the pulls, and they can also see when the support isn't around. If the pull isn't happening and Warlock's missing, he's probably somewhere else. But Warlock's not really a hero that's going to rotate out of this lane. So this more or less is going to allow maybe potential ganks onto the Warlock and just give Doom an easier lane with the extra information coming out from that. And so I talked about the mid lane matchup, talked about the Tusk a bit. But as for the Jug this game, how does he compare against Liquid's lineup in this game compared to the last game? I mean, he does just as well. The healing ward definitely is still pretty strong in this game, as Liquid don't really have the best hero to just go in there and kill it. You're looking at the TA and probably the Spectre to do that. Maybe even Doom when he gets his blink, which is what Mind Control did end up building into in the last game. But this top lane for Matumman is going to be rough once again. I think Legion head-to-head already does very well against the Spectre, but with Kaka rotating in at some point as well, that's going to be a pretty hard game. And it looks like Faith is actually going to start in the top to make sure they put as much pressure as they can onto Matumman in this early game. And if it's an aggro try eventually, which I can see happening, that Kaka will rotate up here around 5 to 6 minute mark just to give Matumman a very hard time farming and getting his core items up, which is like phase boots and a wand with his urn. So it's going to have U9 as well as Kaka just start in this bottom lane. And so it's going to give Mind Control pretty decent lane to start off with. They do have some potential to do some damage onto him, but he should be able to get away for the most part, especially once he gets his boots up. Anyway, GH going to start up here, or I mean he is starting up here. Faith going to start up here as well. Just to give KPI a good start. That was a bit of a premature heal there, as KPI hasn't taken any damage at all. It's going to send the overwhelming odds down onto Matumman, doing a fair bit of harass. Most importantly, getting that kill on the range creep as well. And they might get a range creep deny here. Nope. GH going to say no to that, as the Ice Shard comes out just to secure that last hit. They don't want to lose that experience. And I mean, this is kind of weird how Liquid are playing right now. Kuroki not going for the pull. He went for the stack first. Alright, never mind. This makes more sense. But in this type of scenario, I like to see him actually pull straight at 15. 15 seconds, that is. That wasn't clear. But this is going to give him level 2. Guaranteed level 2. And maybe this is when they're going to look to play aggressive. Faith tried for a side pull. Will be intercepted by GH. So now Kuroki's going to be level 2. GH is going to almost be level 2. And actually, this worked out to be a bit better. And now they have a significant experience advantage over Newbee in this lane so far. Let's look at the other lanes right now. Real quick, as action is going to break out soon in this top lane, as it actually is breaking out right now. We try to play aggressively here onto KPI with the Poison Touch as well as the Ice Shards, but he does get away. And so back to this bottom lane. Kaka's doing okay. Won't quite hit level 2 yet. Gonna hit the stun there onto Mind Control. And Mind Control doing very well for himself. And I did mention this previously, as I mean, Sand King can do some things to try to slow down a Doom, but not much. But comparatively, even if the Warlock was down here, I don't think he would be able to contribute that much either. Maybe Mind Control would be like 2.5 at this point instead of 3. I'm about to hit level 4 even, but they're going to favor slowing down Matumman, and they've done a pretty good job of it so far. If you look at his CS, it's actually pretty good, but his supports have been in his lane, so his experience is, I don't think, as good as U9, but U9 is not that good either, so Alright, I think laning stage definitely in favor of Liquid right now. If you look at the mid lane matchup, Miracle's also doing very well against SCCC. And because Kaka isn't really making rotations quite yet, there's really no kill potential onto Miracle quite yet. And even at this point, SCCC has to watch out as there's a casual Blight Stone and Ember's a relatively low armor hero. So with the build coming out from Miracle, I think this should allow him to do very well in this lane. KPI trying to farm up this big camp right here. Nice play there by Kurogi, getting the heal bomb onto the creep wave, securing that kill onto the big creep there. GH going to try to take the 4-minute rune from Newbee, and he will get it. So they get both runes. They get 3 runes at the 4-minute mark. I think Doom's gonna get this rune as well. He's gonna walk up. He's gonna run into Kaka. Along with his illusion, gonna send him a slap on the back, and he's gonna give up. And so Kaka will take this rune. He's up to level 3, looking pretty good at this point. I expect him to try to gank. A kill onto Miracle, especially with boots as well as Blightstone, isn't that easy. He has 3 in refraction as well. Instead, GH actually going to try to play aggressively onto SCCC. Now the snowball is coming in, and oh, Kaka, nice 2-man stun. And now they're under the tower with the fatal bonds. SCCC will get first blood and second blood as he gets a double kill there. I mean, was that baited? I think that was baited for Kaka. He was very close. He definitely needed to get that stun for them to get those kills, and he almost ended up going down there. Gets a nice 2-man burst strike. They will get the kills, and now early game looking a lot better here for Newbee. And this is when both of the supports are just going to group up and go top and give Matamaman a rough time. He has his phase boots. He's doing pretty well so far, but now he's going to have some supports in his lane soon. But they're looking to try to get a secondary kill here onto Miracle first. Now the Fatal Bond's going to be used, the stun as well. They have the Sentry revealing him, and his Meld Strike, or his Meld, not going to help him there.
Dyer's mid tower could use a little help.
U9 gonna be left alone in the bottom lane, and it's gonna give him a bit of trouble against mind control. If you look at the CS, he's not as high as Matamaman, but I feel like Newbee willing to accept this. With GH coming in, maybe Liquid are trying to look for a kill. I mean, he's gonna reveal himself under the ice shard, so it's no longer a surprise. Now Kaka's showing up, and GH might be in a bit of trouble here. He has the snowball to try to stall for a bit. He actually is able to snowball to the low ground onto this neutral creep, and should allow him to get away. Kaka has to be a bit careful, but nah, he's just fine. With the Tranquil Boots, he's going to be able to heal up a bit as well. He's going to just go pick up the rune right now, up to level 4, not bad. And he's a little bit low on mana, however. And so they won't quite commit to bringing heroes up to this top lane, but expect it soon. And that's a pretty big nuke there onto Matamaman, and even without the Sand King here yet, he's still having a relatively rough time sustaining this lane. He has the Dazzle to help him out, and in the bottom lane, Kaka as well as U9 will get a kill there onto Mind Control. Set up with a Burst Strike into the Omni Slash there. Miracle still looking pretty fine in this mid lane, even after that death, or 2 deaths. And so far, Liquid are feeding kills away to Newbee, but their lanes are still stable. If that can remain true in the next 5 minutes or so is to be seen. Miracle's game plan right now is just to continue to farm up. His treads are coming out to him eventually, and he's going to be able to flash farm the lane and the jungle. Doom is just trying to get up to his Midas, if that's what he's going for, but maybe he's going to go for a more aggressive build this game rather than rushing that first item Midas.
Dyer's mid tower won't last much longer.
That is yet to see. You'll get Mattel Man. He's gonna be level 6 now after killing this catapult. Okay. And U9 doing not bad in his lane. I mean, his CS is actually behind the Doom, so Mind Control is doing very well. But compare him to the Spectre, and he's a couple of CS behind. And you look at net worth, and he's not that far behind either. But here they try to go for a gank onto Mind Control, but now the Haunt gonna be used. But that's Mateleman taking a lot of damage from the spin, and once again, odd play by Mateleman there. He's gonna Haunt in, take too much damage from spin, and then Haunt out. The Doom not doing much. Bringing U9 down low. He doesn't have mana for his healing ward, so he might have to make the walk of shame back to base. But with STCC rotating in, I mean, that was definitely the play there from Mateleman to get out. But was it the play to go in there? I don't know. And I guess they didn't have vision of STCC, and they thought they could potentially get a kill there on to U9, but he got his spin off in time. And when he's magic immune, even though he's doomed, they can't really go for that kill. And so Kaka just going to be taking the spear into this bottom lane while Jug is away. And you look at Legion Commander, she's doing pretty well for herself in this top lane with the support from Faith. Compare her net worth to the Doom, and it's not quite as high, but you're going to expect the Doom to be a bit ahead just because he's entirely solo pretty much for the most part of this lane against Jug. Had to deal with the Sand King for a bit here and there, but definitely not as much pressure coming in onto him as there was the Legion with 3 heroes on the top lane. And they're going to dive deep for this kill onto Kaka. KPI going to TP in, pop the heal onto Kaka, and maybe go for a kill here onto Mind Control. They're going to right click him down a bit. They don't want to commit the duel right away because KPI wants the duel damage ideally. The heal going to come out onto Kaka as well to help him sustain. He's taking a bit of damage, and now the snowball going to come in onto GH, but it's a bit too late and he's in a bit of trouble. They don't have the mana to lock him down quite yet, but KPI going to drop the overwhelming odds. That's going to give him that move speed burst. Kaka doesn't have the mana as well. He's going to go right click, and now the caustic finale should slow up GH, and this should secure the kill. And there you go, KPI getting the kill there. That's 6 kills for Newbee now, and Liquid is actually falling apart at this point. Their first hot rotation didn't work out, and it's 6-0 now in favor of Newbee. The one thing they still have left in their ballpark is Miracle doing very well for himself. Up to level 9, he's about to take this tier 1 from Newbee as well. But I did mention that these heroes are good counters to the Templar. Ember having that Flame Guard can remove Refraction very quickly, and here we see a snowball onto Kaka. They're even going to commit the Doom for this one, and if this is the only kill that they get, it's not worth it for sure, especially if they get the counter kill here, and there comes the Remnants. That's going to be another dual win for KPI, and 2 dual wins in 11 minutes. That's actually very good for a Legion Commander. And with the TP rotations coming in from Newbee, they turn that gank around, and that's Doom wasted. That's Hot wasted. And once again, Liquid not getting that much out of their big cooldowns. Kuroki just going to be sitting casually up here in the top lane. He's pretty farm for a Dazzle, and this is something you can see from Dazzle sometimes when they get more space to get some farm in the lane. And I think that's what has happened in this game. It's up to 2,000 gold. That's pretty decent. And compare that to GH, and actually he's having a very rough game. He's up to level 4. He's going to snowball, and he's going to go down here again. Chased down by SCCC, and the burn damage should be enough. There you go. Mega kill streak for SCCC, and this is just a level 4 Tuss dying again. And, I mean, when is GH going to have impact in this game? They went for a bit of an unorthodox pick, and I did mention Mind Control definitely wanted to go for a more aggressive build this game, and we see it here as he's going to be building into a drums with a early bracer pickup. And now he's running in with a haste rune onto Faith, and Faith going to prematurely pop his heal. Mind Control going to realize that he doesn't want to go too deep as SCCC is still in the area, and he's going to run away. So a bit of time wasted there. GH needs to sit in a lane against level 6. Kuroki is like, alright, I'm just going to sit top and farm. This is, I mean, this is really odd what Liquid are doing. it feels like everyone on their team is kind of doing their own thing now. They TP in, they see Kako, and they want to kill. Are they even going to get him, though, as SCCC is rotating in? He gets the root. You know, the Omni Slash comes onto Kuroki. The Grave comes out to save him. And another duel win for KPI. That's his third in the game so far. And, I mean, damage is just coming his way. And since all of Newbee has rotated in for this counter gank, they're going to just push down this bottom tier 1. And that was Liquid TPing in heroes as well for that, and they just get nothing done. Kuroki is going to walk back to base, and he dropped his weave there, and what else was to be done? He got Omni Slash, he had to use the Grave to save himself, and that's one thing that Dazzle is pretty good against a Legion Commander, but I mean, if he's going to be in a position where he's getting Omni Slash, he has to Grave himself to stay alive. He's not going to be able to save his Doom there. Even then, so far he only has 1 point into the shallow grave, so it's kind of hard to get into range this early as well. So after that dual win, KPI gonna be relatively close, a decent amount away, but he's gonna have it in the next minute or so, 2 minutes or so. GD Rune will be spawning in the top rune area. Miracle is once again still the one saving grace that Liquid still have, and I mean, this is kind of looks like deja vu from the last game, but even Liquid's doing worse, a lot worse than they were in the last game, especially onto GHG, which was doing pretty good on his line, but his Tusk is not looking good at all. And they're going to be able to use the Haunt, try for a kill onto Kaka here, but he's just going to TP away, and without the Walrus Punch, 14 minutes in the game, GH is still level 5. He's just going to TP out, and once again, another Haunt wasted. And this is actually not good at Newbee, not good for Liquid at all against Newbee. The position they're in right now, you look at SCCC, he went into a Blade Mail, and he's very farm, almost having gold for his route to travel. The Blade Mail is going to allow him to pretty much man up against Miracle. Miracle really has no option. He can't really run, as he's going to get his refraction burn. He's going to get rooted up by the Ember. Of course, Ember has the Remnant to follow up as well. And if he hits him, the Blade Mail comes out. He's going to kill himself. And now the Blink Dagger is going to come out in pretty decent timing for KPI. Faith has his ultimate, hasn't had an opportunity to use it quite, but Newbee wants to use it very soon. They have the Doom up. Haunt is still on cooldown for a while, and I think Newbee are just gonna go. You're gonna go. This TPN is gonna be spotted out by onto SCC. Was gonna be spotted out by the trap from Miracle. I mean, and it's actually Liquid, the ones who want to go aggressive. And I don't agree with this. They kind of feel desperate, so they're gonna roll in. The Doom gonna be used onto KPII, but that's a 3-man Warlock Golem, and between the Fatal Bonds, they're all dead, and they're also next to the shrine. So I mean, they're healed back up to pretty much full. They're gonna get a deny here, I'm assuming, onto this mid tower, and they're gonna just push for this tier 1 mid of their own. In the meantime, Matamaman has just been farming in this bottom lane. In terms of farm, he's doing a lot better in this game than he was in the last game. That's just because Newbee don't really care that much about him in this game. They didn't really put pressure on him. But in terms of impact he has in this game, every single one of his haunts was pretty much a wash. And now with the Warlock Golem, they're going to take down this tier 1. This is where Liquid want to go right now. The Snowball going to come in. They realize that there is no Golem. The Fatal Bonds has already been committed as well. Faith going to go down low, but he gets away thanks to the root coming out from SCCC. And he's going to pop Blade Mail, man up against Miracle a bit here. The Healing Ward keeping everyone alive. Now Omni Slash coming through. The Grave will come out this time. They do kill the Healing Ward. And well, that's a lot of damage coming in towards U9, and he will go down. Do they want to deny the tower here? I think they do, and they're going to try it, and they do get it off, so pretty big deal there. And oh, look at the damage! Oh no, no duel yet, still on cooldown. That would have been a big duel, and pretty sure that would have been a win as well. And look at the Fatal Bonds doing work in this game. They do lose U9, but I think at the end of the day, Newbee gonna take that. They denied their mid tower. They went in a bit aggressively. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and they're gonna say, all right, whatever. We lose one hero, we deny our tower, And they're just gonna go continue to play their game plan. Of course, remember their chaotic offering is still cooling down, and once they have that next time around, they can continue to dominate these team fights. You look at SCCC, and he's gonna be building into a Lincoln Sphere as his next item to make sure he doesn't get doomed up. The drum is gonna come out from Mind Control now, and this is a pretty late drums. If you look at Doom, he's relatively under farmed. If you look at Kaka, he's about to approach him in terms of farm and get close to his blink. He's gonna pick up a nice arcane rune for himself here, and look at the overall net worth in the game, and Newbee do have a decent advantage. After that death onto U9 as well as the tower going down in the mid lane, it's gonna be a bit of a dip back to Liquid. And one thing to mention is Matoma Man is having a lot better game, and I can't expect his radiance around the 20-minute mark. He had it around the 22-minute mark in the last game, and hold that thought. Duel coming out onto Matoma Man. Maybe not. Maybe he's going to have a late radiance once again. As GH rolls in, he just dies. He gets the Walrus Punch off, but SCC gets the Remnant forward. Kaka comes in here as well if he's needed, but he is not. That's 2 kills for Newbee. Scores 14-2, and I mean, it looks like Liquid are just falling apart. Miracle is blinking forward, and once again, I mentioned it before, but it feels like everyone on Liquid is just doing their own thing. They just don't feel unified. And now Newbee smoking up, looking for a play. They know where Miracle is, and they're going to scan him out. He has to watch himself here. He does have his blinks, and he can get away. They need to be able to take his refractions out, but they are able to do so, so he goes down. Godlike Sheep for SCCC, and nice Golem dropping onto 2, and they're going to kill Matoma Man here as well, and they can head straight into Roshan if that's what they want. And Miracle feeling pretty confident with a ward placed here, but instead he's going to get caught out. Nice scan coming out from Newbee. They know exactly where it is. They take out his refraction charges before he can blink away, and with that dual win, I mean, KPI is scaling pretty hard. 44 dual damage onto him already, and that's going to be Roshan as well. And SCC is godlike, and he's dominating this game, and that's why I was so surprised with this Templar Assassin pick. Sure, she has the potential to dominate the lane as well as just do just fine in terms of being able to farm, but Ember is very good against the Templar, and she is forced to buy back here. Ember does end up going down. That's a godlike streak going to Miracle. Pretty big deal, and they take out the Aegis as well, and that buyback actually paying off incredibly for Newbee. For Liquid against Newbee, and Miracle gonna go forward, get another kill here onto KPI potentially. Yeah, they do get the attack off before he can blink away, but I think he's gonna get out now. So very big win there. Did cost the buyback from Miracle, but I mean, this early in the game, if you're buying back for that big of a team fight victory, considering how far you were behind, the thing is, he got that kill onto SCCC when he was still on the buyback timer, or the buyback penalty, so he didn't get as much gold as he would have if he didn't have that. But I mean, he still propelled himself to the top of the net worth, took that godlike streak away from Newbee, and I mean, this is their way back in the game, but it's only a start. So they nullified that Aegis, even though Newbee did kill Roshan, and that's going to allow them to hold. But their late game with the Spectre, I would say, I mean, alright, their late game isn't bad, but they're not in a position to scale into the late game right now. Because if you look at Matoma Man, he doesn't even have his relic yet. So actually, in this game, he was looking pretty good on his way to his Radiance. But because of I mean, him getting caught out in the bottom lane, as well as over here, trying to stand next to his TA, maybe help him out or something, his relic's going to come out at 22 minutes. At this point in the game, he had his Radiance in the last game. And so Matoma Man once again having a very rough game on the Spectre. Doom not having that good of a game either, because this time around he didn't go for the Midas, and ensure the drums allowing them to play more aggressively, take these mid-game fights a bit better. I mean, I'm sure Mind Control is wishing he had a Midas at this point. He also went for a Hood. But I don't know, if he went for Midas, he could also just be punished by Newbee. So overall, alright, Kaka gearing up for an epicenter. They're gonna go directly onto Matama Man. The Grave will save him, and I think that's gonna allow KPI not to get the duel when the Doom was used already onto KPI. And with Miracle with the DD rune, he does get a kill there on the backline as well onto Kaka. He stunned in pretty aggressively, and he has no way out. And so that's 2 kills for Liquid. I mean, they get the big kill there onto Matama Man though, and it's big because if he never gets his Radiance, when is he going to be useful this game? He's just going to die in these fights, and that's a big kill, however, as they find SCCC, and alright, 3 kills for Liquid. I mean, I'm sure they take the loss of Matama Man there. Miracle going to continue to scale. He is at the top net worth in the game so far, and that's going to help Mind Control propel a bit forward as well. Get towards his Blink Dagger. That's going to allow him to initiate, even counter initiate a lot better. Warlock Golem had to be used there, while Matama Man didn't have to use his Haunt. And I think Newbee really needs to just slow down the game a bit, make sure they take a bit of smarter fights. I mean, I definitely agree with their play to go for Roshan there. It was just well played by Liquid, using that buyback onto Miracle, realizing that they can fight when Newbee's ultimates are on cooldown. And see, it doesn't look like Newbee are that worried after respawning. They just push straight back forward onto this top lane. If you look at the net worth, it is a significant dip back in the favor of Liquid's. Only about a 2,000 advantage now in terms of net worth for Newbee, but they don't really look worried at all because they know how far behind Matama Man is, especially after that kill. He's not going to have his Radiance for like another minute, or yeah, pretty much a minute or so. So they're just going to take this time, push the top tier 2 and get it for free. Miracle gonna farm, building to a very early Black King bar. He realizes that he pretty much has to carry these fights throughout the mid game, and without a BKB, he's just gonna go down to the epicenter and the Ember Spear, as well as the Fatal Bond's doing a fair amount of work as well, with all the magic damage going in there. Next item up looks like Bloodthorn or an Orchid for him. Definitely required to lock down this Ember Spirit, but he does have the Lincoln Sphere complete already, so it's not going to be that easy to just get an Orchid to silence him out. Liquid do have a Solar Crest. That's a very good pickup there onto Kuroki. You look at JH, he's gonna have his Blink. That's a pretty big deal as well. That allows him to get in there and Blink Snowball to save a hero from the duel, which is pretty dope. That's going to be 2 ways that they can get out of the duel, more or less. So this is definitely opening up their potential in this game to come back. And I think if they can survive to around the 40 minute mark, and not just survive, they need Matama Man to get fat as well, or at least up there in terms of net worth, because at this point he's not doing hot at all. He's gonna have his Radiance complete now, and this is gonna be the beginning of his journey to getting farmed, but still gonna be rough. He's playing against 2 Blade Males, a lot of magic damage, just AoE damage in general, so they're gonna have to clear out his illusions very quickly. Just even kill him if he tries to commit too hard onto anybody. And now Blink is going to be the next item for SCCC. He's died a bit now after going godlike, and oh, nice gank there, getting that kill onto Kaka. It's going to be the Blink reveal onto GH. SCCC just going to try to slow down the push in this bottom lane. He has to try to watch himself maybe. Oh no Blink yet on Mind Control, so it should be okay. So also, if he did have a Blink, they have to go through the Lincolns. Gotta remember that. And they're looking to go. Alright, smoked up. They try to go for a kill. The Haunt gonna scout out Faith, and he is gonna go down. Unite gonna spin away, as well as the Remnant getting SCCC away. And they're gonna TP back. Just push out their lane. It's gonna take that kill. The rest of the heroes are gonna push out bottom, but SCCC solo kill onto Matama Man. That's a very big deal. Matoman TPing up. He saw creeps up top and he just wanted to go. But now with Kaka TPing in, they want to get the stragglers here as well. Stun going to be used onto GH. U9 getting pushed forward. He's running forward, wanting to kill there. And I think, oh, nice play there, but he's going to run into an Ember Spear. And that's another dual win for KPI. 2 kills there for Newbee. And a very big deal with Matoman going down there again. And he's just building straight into a Blade Mail, realizing that he's so far behind. I mean, he's just going to hope to maybe do well in one team fight and let Miracle carry him. And this is not the Spectre we've seen from other teams. And Liquid, I mean, clearly they think the hero is good as they picked it up in the first game, as well as the second game, even though they did lose in the first game. But I don't know. Matoman going down there to SCCC, and it just looks like Newbee are just playing at another level right now, where Liquid are not really playing to their best. Once again, looking a bit scattered, I would say. And now Newbee going into Roshan. Liquid looking to contest. They're going to put the trap in there, and it's gonna force Newbee back out. Scan gonna be used. They realize that Liquid is coming, and they're not gonna commit. SCCC gonna use his boosted travel, TP to this bottom lane, push out the wave, and he knows he can do this because Newbee does not want to TP down here. I'm surprised he didn't even go for another wave, but instead Newbee gonna go back into Roshan. They have the medallion onto Faith, and I mean, they should be able to work this down at a steady rate. It's not too fast, but not too slow either. I think Liquid definitely want to fight. They're gonna pop another trap into the rush, but it's gonna immediately get taken care of. But they know what is going on for sure. The Hot gonna be used. Oh, big silence though onto Faith. He couldn't get his ultimate off, and the Doom gonna be used onto U9 as well. He should go down here, and Miracle with his BKB is cleaning up. SCCC gets away, however. Kaka stuck on the cliff, and he can stun to the low ground. He can even Yules. He needs to be able to use Yules and blink away. Can he do it? He can, and he's okay for now. And he's even gonna commit his epicenter here, and going invis, they will secure the kill there onto Kuroki, but in the back line, Miracle did clean up Roshan and get the Aegis for himself. Kaka will end up going down. KPI goes down as well, and that's a huge win for Liquid. I mean, Newbee just got a bit of, let's say, overconfident there, going for Roshan when they easily could have just either backed away or tried to bait a bit harder with SCCC. The thing is, he went bottom to push in the lane, which I think was the right move, and then he immediately went back and tried to go for Roshan. Instead, he should have just pushed more. I guess he might have been afraid that Liquid were setting up on him, and he really didn't want to die, because that would have just gave Roshan to Liquid for free if he ended up dying, getting surprised by a Blink Doom or something like that. But I feel like he definitely had, he had the remnant there, unless his remnant was expiring or something like that, and he had to go back. I don't know. Well, Miracle looking to set up for a cheeky kill here, and I said Miracle definitely had to step it up to carry his team in this one, and he's done so far. And he has a fully completed Bloodstone, and he's by far the top of the net worth by whopping around 5,000, almost 6,000 gold. And this is gonna buy time for sure for Matoman to come back and eventually get his items up. Kuroki has done a pretty good job in this game as well, with his weaves as well as his graves this game. And so if you look at the net worth chart now, it's finally going to dip in the favor of Liquid. And I think Newbee definitely going to be a bit worried. This game is looking very good for them, but off the back of a couple of big plays from Liquid, that buyback onto Miracle for sure, definitely going to be a highlight. Coming back, defending Roshan, well, not necessarily defending, but killing Newbee right after they secured Roshan definitely slowed the momentum. And we see here Miracle is going to get a solo kill real quick onto Faith. And the big thing about that Rosh fight was the silence onto Faith, not allowing him to get that Warlock Golem off. And that's really the reason why Newbee lost that fight so hard. And so, he has to watch out. That Orchid on Miracle definitely paying off there. And SCCC has to get himself out of harm's way here as well. U9 continuing to push in through this bottom lane, going into a Scotty build, giving him that extra tank. I do like that build. And now Liquid actually taking over the map with this Aegis onto Miracle. He's very strong at this point, and he's level 25.
Radiant's mid tower's getting the what for.
Kaka,
The dire
he's looking to set up on this bottom lane. And I didn't talk much about Matoma Man, but this is his time to get back into the game. With all the map control that Liquid has secured in the past, I would say about 5 minutes or so, he's got his farm up. He's gonna build straight into a heart, and he's realizing that he's kind of like the secondary carry of his team right now. He wants to just go in there, be annoying with his blade mail as well as radiance, and that heart is gonna help him tank up and get more effectiveness out of his blade mail. Newbee smoking up right now. This is about time for this Aegis to expire in about like 30 seconds to a minute or so. And they're looking for some type of play, but they're not going to find it. Liquid are just grouped up and they're looking to just run down lanes. No one is off on their own. And are they going to try to go high ground here and force Newbee back? I think that's what they're doing. Miracle walking up very aggressively. He's going to get caught up by SCCC and his searing chains for a bit here. But I mean, he's just going to be fine. The Aegis is still up onto him for like another, I mean, I said it before, about 30 seconds now. Should be expiring very shortly. Liquid has very good wards on the map as well. Kroki's gonna be building into a 4-step, but Toman is getting a lot of space to catch up in terms of farm, and this is a very big deal. Kaka going for a pipe against the... there's actually not much magic damage on the side of Liquid. This is the Radiance is the biggest thing, and a Scorched Earth from the Doom. Something wrong about this Aegis timer? Should be expiring. My internal clock says it should be expiring. Alright, there you go. Alright, I'm almost right on the mark. So I said 30 seconds before, so I was wrong about that one, but it's right about this here. And Kaka continuing to just push in the lane like this. He's done this once before, and right now Newbee's trying to bait someone into a bad position, but I mean the dire scan is gonna come out and he might die here potentially. Got mind control coming forward with the Doom, and alright, awkward for Kaka. He's gonna get locked in by the shards. Very nice play there from GH. Gonna get sent into the air as well, and it's an easy kill. And he's respawning quite quickly with the respawn timer talent. But I mean, it's a kill nonetheless. The thing is, they did have to commit the Doom for that one, and now Hana gonna be used. Faith gonna go down, and Man haunting all over the place. And so both supports will go down, but I mean, there's two big ultimate abilities for two supports that are spawning in a relatively short period of time. Whether that's worth it, it's to see. If they can transition the Warlock's death into a chance to fight 5v4, maybe even get a kill, that's definitely can be a big deal. It does give Matoma Man a bit more space. He's going to have his completed heart now. I think Liquid are making a pretty decent comeback into this game. This more aggressive build coming out from Mind Control is looking to work out. He even went for the plus health rather than the Devourer Gold, and that health at level 10 is a lot. So he's pretty much tanking up and being a pretty big deal in these fights for Newbee to try to fight. Because he goes in there and he's reviving the pack leader's aura for Miracle, and not only his Doom but the auras as well as his Solar Crest is a very big deal. You look at him and you don't really feel the Doom's impact when he builds like this, right? He's not going for his big items, Shadow Blade, so he can get his Doom off and things like that. But right now he blinks in there and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with in these fights. He's very tanky, very hard to take down, and that's something that Newbee is having a bit of a problem with in these past few fights. Is between the Graves coming out from Dazzle and the Sustain, they're having a problem finding kills. It's been a long time since they really have won a fight, and now we see the Haunt come out, the Doom come out. They're gonna be very liberal with their ultimates here, taking that kill onto Matama Man, Kaka, as they tried to go Matama Man there, and they got a bit baited. And he's gonna just TP defend against that push coming out from SCCC. KPI is building into an AC. I would say a pretty good build against a TA and her minus armor, but at this point I think Liquid have found that they've survived the risky part of the game where they were going to get run over by Newbee, and off the back of Miracle, really I think they have a pretty good shot at winning this one and evening out the series. Of course, Newbee are not out. You look at that net worth, and I mean, Liquid are pulling very far ahead now. Gonna approach the 10,000 mark very soon. We see a mech pick up onto GH and Newbee. After those rough fights for them, they really have been just knocked out of the game, really. I mean, Kaka has done a good job of keeping up in farm. I guess it's completed pipe as well as Yules. Now there's a gem pickup onto him. But I think Newbee are not finding that they can take any team fights right now, and they've just been playing the farm and split push game. I don't know if this is the right play or not, because they are playing against Spectre, and because they're playing like this, they're giving a lot to Matoma Man. He was doing very poorly, but now he's surpassed the Jug, and he's going to continue to scale in terms of net worth. And you look at SCCC here is actually going to go for a Shiva's Guard. I definitely agree. Building armor, the attack speed reduction definitely going to help out as well. And mind control continue to build into utility items, going for a force staff. That's going to help his team kite. And oh, they're going aggressive. The Haunt will give them vision. And Tallman going in very aggressively. He doesn't care. He has a heart. He's gonna pop his Blade Mail. Faith will drop his Warlock Golem. But Tubman has to watch out a bit here as the duel gonna come out, but he's gonna win the duel. Now Omni Slash gonna come out. It's not gonna do much at all. Miracle might end up going down here potentially. This up B will actually be doing a lot of work, but no, SCCC would be the one going down instead. It's a triple kill for Miracle, and he's being healed back up with an urn. He's going aggressively onto the high ground. The buyback has to be forced out from SCCC. Ultra kill for Miracle. Will it be a rampage for him? No. That kill gets stolen if he can kill SCCC here. This is very big. That's a dieback. Oh, and Doom has level 20 talent as well. He went for the Dragon. He has the Fireball. It's going to allow him to push that lanes. That's pretty unique. It gives him splash attack as well. Unfortunately, the creep actually has 3 abilities, and because Doom only has 2, he doesn't get the third one, which is the armor, which is pretty dope. But anyway, the rest of Newbee are dead without buyback. They go in with that kill. Kaka's now dead. Miracle is beyond godlike, and for sure he's been carrying his team in this one. Matoma Man had a rough start. He died a couple of times, but Miracle picking up the let's say dead weight there. He's picking up the slack for Matoma Man. He's gonna go, all right, I got you guys. I got you. I know you had not too good of a game so far, but I got this. He bought back in with confidence, defending Roshan. Well, not defending Roshan, but winning that Roshan fight. And I mean, it all started from there for Liquid. That's the first set of racks down for them, and I actually don't know what Newbee can do in this game. They completely lost their timing, and a lot of it was just it's all started at that Roshan fight, but it definitely did not end there. They took a couple more bad fights similar to that one, and it really cost them here as the Haunt gonna come out. Very big stun coming out from Kaka, but it won't matter. Liquid are just gonna clean up, and GG's is gonna be called by Faith, and they're gonna give a quick end to this game. Ultra kill for Miracle, and this TA pick working out this time for Liquid. It was looking a bit iffy there, but I mean, they made it work. Miracle bought a pretty early BKB, and I feel like once he got that up, he was untouchable in these fights. And because Newbee kind of went pretty heavy on magic damage in this game, even the Jug, I mean, he didn't build for straight damage. Miracle was untouchable, and with the space created with the rest of his team, I'm definitely going to give Kuroki a medal in this game as well. His grades were on point, his weaves as well, and I do like the Doom's build. Building that tanky, he was that frontliner, created that space for TA Miracle to do damage, and it was just solid game from Liquid. Nice comeback, and I was about to just say Newbie had it there, but I gotta say I'm impressed by Miracle. And the early game, mid game was a bit sketchy, but they came back and they definitely looked more unified as a team. The later the game went, and I'd say game 3 is up to anybody at this point, 50-50. Whoever's going to show up, and it's going to be down to how the execution pans out for both teams. So I'll see you guys in that one, and hope you guys enjoyed so far, and peace out.